Coltrane mentality, indeed. Okay, so in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the tune Countdown, okay? And we're going to set the record straight in terms of every single correct note, every single chord quality. We're just going to do the full deep dive, official analysis of Countdown. And then, we're going to talk about developing some language on this, right? Now, the reason I needed to share this lesson is because this is actually a live lesson between me and one of my inner circle OG legends, Sean Cool Cat Fitzpatrick, okay? Now, I've been working with Sean for over a year, so we are deep in it, deep. Like, we're doing Countdown. Like, we're studying Countdown. Like, yeah, he's ready. Like, he understands triadic voice leading with the level of fluency that is probably in the top 1 percentile of guitarists. So Sean has come a long way. So I'm saying that just to put it in context, like you're about to watch something like very advanced. However, it's explained in an extremely basic and straightforward way. And the reason I wanted to share this is because Sean actually told me that this particular lesson was extremely helpful to him. And then I actually just took a second look back and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good lesson. Yeah, I got to share this with the world. Now, Countdown is such a great example of Coltrane mentality because it's the classic situation where Coltrane's just going through the tunes, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, right? And this one's based on tune-up, right? So he goes over to tune-up and he's like, what can I do to tune-up? It's like kind of the most boring, lamest song like ever written. How can we make it sick? So we get to see how Coltrane is thinking by examining Countdown, which is essentially like the updated version of tune-up. Like, how does Coltrane think about 2-5-1s, right? Because look at the tune-up chart, right? Look at that, right? Just 2-5-1s, right? How does Coltrane think about 2-5-1s? Countdown shows us. It's really good. So without further ado, get into this one. This is a gem of the internet I'm about to share. Congratulations for finding this video. Watch all the way to the end for a surprise. Good. So look at these key centers. D major, C major, B flat major.
B
down
flat
whole
major,
steps.
okay.
And remember, Countdown is based off of tune-up. This is a deep lesson of Coltrane.
Oh.
Deep lesson of Coltrane is that tune-up has the resolution of D major right here.
Yeah.
Because it's E minor, A7, D major 2 bars. Yeah. This is now we understand Coltrane. We understand Coltrane. Then it goes to C major, and it's instead of a D minor for 4 beats, followed by a G major for 4 beats, followed by a symmetrical resolution to a C major for 8 beats. Look what Coltrane does. We understand how he thinks. We're going to talk about this, but basically, it's like you're in the key of C, right? It's like you are. You literally look at bar 5. I'm talking about bar 5 to the end. You're in the key of C, just like in bar 4. The whole thing is in the key of D. First 4 bars, key of C. Second 4 bars. So this is how it makes sense. This D minor 7 is basically like a C major.
Okay.
Because what happens in the Coltrane sequence is we ascend a minor third from the root. So the only way to make sense of this is that way, at least as far as I can determine. So the whole point of Countdown is it's like this super funny situation. And he used the original starting point, and then he asked himself, how can I get from the starting point to the finishing point with a whole roller coaster of lunacy in between? And I don't know if lunacy is the right word. I don't think that's a fair, but it's a bunch of crazy shit is what it is. These Coltrane sequences. These are super unique. So to put it in context, the Coltrane sequence is coming from like something that Tad Damerman does on Lady Bird. Like it's a thing that already exists. It's also on Polka Dots and Moonbeams. Like let's just take a quick second to just get that Coltrane basic thing going on. For example, in Polka Dots and Moonbeams, that song is just a classic tune with a good old-fashioned Coltrane. I'm just going to show it in that example, starting on G. You can hear my guitar, right? I have the audio on?
Yep.
Okay, cool. On G major, going up a minor third to B flat major, but it would be like a B flat 7, but really the emphasis is on that B flat major triad, you know what I'm saying? And that goes to an A minor, of course.
Up a fourth.
Down a half step, B
B flat major down to A minor.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because B flat major is a tritone sub for the 5 chord, of course. So a classic old school jazz turnaround from the old days sounds like Coltrane because he basically took that from his own core language. There's the old school. Right? So just the basic root chord, up a minor third, because it's the tritone sub for the 6 chord, and then down a half step to the 2 chord, because that is what, the whole destination there. And then you could go just the good old 5 chord second inversion, of course. That's what that is, back to a first inversion 1 chord. So that's like old school, that's in polka dots and moonbeams. That's how that literally happens. So all I'm saying is like everything is based off that logic, and right here you're thinking of what your tonic is, and you're trying to do a 2-5-1, but hitting another 2 key centers before you get back to the 1 chord. And this is how you can do that, right? Where you have, the tonics hitting on the downbeat of each measure, right? So the tricky one is just the first measure. That's all, right? That's the tricky one because the first measure is not the tonic, but it's the Dorian tonic relationship, if that makes sense, right? This is like how you explain this shit. Like, it's super specific, right? Like, the whole trick is you could have just started on D major right here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Could have just started on D major. That would have been like the normal thing to do. But to get the sound of Countdown, he's basically substituting E minor for D major because he's thinking of them as both from, the same D major scale situation. Mm-hmm. And then what ends up happening is this cool Coltrane sequence emerges that we actually don't hear on other tunes, right? So like this sound, just get that in our ear, like from E. That one. It's just that one. And of course you hear it in substitutions and all this different stuff, but like this is the OG where you're starting. It's a 2-5-1 over 4 bars where the 1 chord needs to hit in bar 4, not in bar 3. I think it makes so much sense. That's why I love Countdown. It's a really, really good example of like you created a whole new harmonic rhythm that's still symmetrical. It's really good. Mm-hmm. Resolving in, I don't know, it's just something about this really cool how it happened. Like stretch out the 2-5. This is a good way to think about it. Stretch out the 2-5 over 3 bars, dude. Stretch out the 2-5 over 3 bars. What? That's what that is. Stretch out the 2-5 over 3 bars. That's what that is. It's still symmetrical. Because I'm saying, if you see it as you hit the 1 chord, even though this E minor is not the 1 chord, it's the substitute for the 1 chord. It's like 1 chord on the downbeat, another 1 chord on the downbeat, another 1 chord on the downbeat, final 1 chord on the downbeat. Mm-hmm. And then you have the parallel of that. It's exactly the same, but the subtlety is the melody. The melody is different. So let's now just get once again to measure 8, because it's going to get different in measure 9. So getting to measure 8, 3, 4. That's a call and response iconic phrase to get in our ears because things change. It gets vibey down here. So let's talk about some melody before we get on the vibey parts, because what we learn on the melodies, we're going to understand it on bar 10. Bar 9 that would be. So let's look at these melodies. So this is like, it's gonna be like, of course, I'm gonna start on the old root position E minor. I'm gonna follow this pathway because I like it and it's classic. Of course. I mean, that is the real practice. Now let's do something out of this, okay? Go slow at first. That's the kind of stuff. So now we can play all the subdivisions with just like, when I did that, I could see a lot of different connections, but I just chose one. So now I can do the same thing with different connections in the same exact pathway. And what I'll do to make it even easier on myself, which is a classic thing to do right here, use swing phrasing.
Yeah.
Because I can play less notes. That's basically what that comes
Okay.
down to. And,
Gotcha.
and now it's all going to click because you're going to be like, wow, like, look how few notes I'm playing. And I'm going to purposely only play the triads. 3, 4. Again. Again. So, yeah, there's a lot to consider with this. I obviously did a secondary pathway on that last time when I was repeating it, but let's just look at the first one I'm doing, right? It's so classic. You know it, you know it. What's great about countdown is when you do it on the first one, you can use that on the second one. No shame in that. No shame in that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're eventually going to figure out new pathways, but at first, like when I was first learning these tunes, this is how I did it. I mean, no, I didn't do it this way. I did it the wrong way when I first did it. Then I finally did it the right way, which is this kind of stuff, like just these like. So it's just getting to that. That's good. Because that's the unique movement. But now it's not unique at all. It's iconic. Like right here, he does it again at the end. Look, the end is perfect.
Eats it. Right.
That's the key. Because and on guitar, you know I hit that like.
Yeah. That's sick.
Some days when I tune my guitar down a half step, that E flat 7 is the open E flat string. That's a dark moment. Because I go with like, just for practice, this is a classic cut. I'll have one guitar tuned down a half step, but then still play standards in the right key.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the iconic move. Yeah. I tried at first doing that with like drop tunings, and I haven't mastered that yet. But for now, I'm just about like, that's a good little exercise. So I think about countdown, actually all the Coltrane, because I specifically took the time to do that with all those. I think of them all in 2 keys. It fucks your head up in a good way. It's some crazy shit. So when I think of countdown, I remember like, oh, the other fingering, like there's cool shit right there. But the OG fingering, you get that like, you hit that open. That's the iconic. Like, that's the right, that open E is super good. So I actually think countdown and standard tuning is amazing. I love giant steps and half step down tuning. Amazing. So fun. All right. So, okay. So we need to basically get to the next part of the song here. I think you understand my try. I'm going to repeat the same pathway just one more time. Root position E flat, all open. I'm going to go all open until I get to D flat. All open until I get to D flat. Why? Because that's a halfway between the 2/5 that's spread over 3 bars. Looking for some symmetry here. So on the D flat, I'm going to close it up. So open, 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 close, and descend. That's why I close it, because of the voice line.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. But if I play it down like that, well, then it makes me kind of want to do. I'll still close it. Yeah, no, I'll still close it actually. No, I would open it. So that's a D flat right there. I'm playing a D flat. So okay, check this out. So root position E minor. If I play the B flat where I end up on the top, this is the key. If I end up on the top, close it up, D flat. But if I end up on the bottom, open it up. They have a common tone pivot right there. So now that's perfect information that I'm going to use forever, basically. So that's all I did, as I just closed everything. Those I like closed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of closed because this is really how we're doing it at first, because I'm trying to picture it like we're just kind of learning countdown in the first place. Obviously, it seems crazy that we could learn it this fast, but if you actually just focus on, okay, so I've got root position open triads to start it, going to a second inversion open triad. So the only non-root position triad is the B flat. That's how you really master stuff. Just give yourself like one weird one and then purposely do all the others root position.
Just
right?
like wiggle room, like some alteration, some variety.
Yeah, variety for sure. Variety, absolutely. And also, it forces you to focus on like a little kind of goalpost.
Uh, so you don't like autopilot. Got it.
Yeah, so you don't autopilot. Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah.
Uh huh. Those are, oh, dude, I'm all about those. That's exactly what I'm saying about this melody. Play the correct melody so you don't autopilot. So, like, every
Yeah.
time you're going to this part of the tune, I know I'm jumping around, but it's fine. Every time you go to this part of the tune, like, I'm going to remember to play that ninth in the melody here. I'll hit that Bach cello suite tetrachord. Like, check this out. From
Yeah.
E major, G major. That's the one, right?
Mhm.
Versus on the same thing on this G flat, right? On the G flat, I would go, right, because I'm up a whole step. So right here, right? Going to that A, it's altered though. So listen to what I would do on that. I would literally treat it differently. I would go. I would just treat it differently. Not like fundamentally, but I would be like, oh man, I'm going to play those extension melody notes right there. And it's going to change up my whole pathway. Because that's
That's the
crazy
tune.
line. Yeah.
It's just the tune, right? You're playing the tune.
I'm just playing the tune, right? But look how it contrasts. So I'm coming from this, right?
Yeah.
You know what I did? I went for the. You know what I did? Yeah. Good. No, but I can still make my point. Yeah, from that D flat, right? D flat to G flat. That's obviously A. Sick. Like going from the G flat, following the melody where I go the G. Well, I'm not following the melody actually. I'm just playing a G flat root position open, and then I go to an A root position open because the sound of that major third really clear. That's the Coltrane clarity, right? So this. Now when I hit the melody against that, that hits all the way home right there. That's the key we want to think about. So now I want to actually highlight that in my practice.
Yeah.
I did the thing, yeah. That's the type of autopilot, anti-autopilot level, dude. Super, super specific. That's also why I believe in the idea of singular pathways.
Right.
Part of that ties into making it easier for you to have focus specificity, because if you just can get really good at focusing on one single pathway and freeing your mind to find the variations on the singular pathway, you just cut the entire line.
Because you get the cliche lines out, like regardless if you have the fundamentals. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, inevitably you get all the free cliches. I mean, like the cliches to me are voice leading for the most part. Like this is voice leading. This whole thing I'm doing, in from bar 1, especially with playing the melody in bar 3. Just that's very, to me that's
right.
But this, so from that B flat, right? Like that D flat, of course. And there's a few ways to go that A, right? So check this, G flat to A. This is the whole thing with these changes, is they really set up crazy voice leading. But G flat to A, a few different directions. Look, proper voice leading. That's proper voice leading. Parallel Coltrane future voice lead, not voice leading.
Okay. Yeah.
And then voice lead it though. Those are great, right? So voice lead the resolution from A to D, but this kind of parallel motion, that's sick. But now let's add the extensions. Let's leave those triads. I could go. It sets up a whole different series of realities, because before I'm going, which is fine, like, that's great. You're nailing it. You're crushing it. But you want to crush it harder, almost in some ways, not harder, but contrast. I'm gonna do it. See what I did there? You see I played the natural 9, that's all. That's all. I like to contrast it. I'll play it a little faster. Listen for the contrast from bar 3 to bar 7. Listen for that. That's the key. It's the same 5th resolution via 2 different pathways. The correction of countdown. They played it wrong in the real book. 3, 4. Hear it there, right? You just want to hear it like the way it's supposed to be, like hearing that melody on E, right? That like. Actually, that's not what I meant to play. I meant to play this. That's what it really is. You could have the 3rd in there. If I'm just playing triads, like it starts to sound down home, but I'm really just playing like super basic stuff. But here's another simple way to think about it, though. E major root position. G major root position, the classic. That motion's iconic,
Right.
dude. That's what I'm saying. You want to learn that? That is like such a sick guitar hack, dude.
It's just up a minor 3rd parallel motion, like it's just like key fundamental Coltrane movement.
Yeah, that's too sick on guitar because you can play it open. Don't you think Coltrane wished he could play it open? Like
no,
wish...
yeah. I forgot.
Exactly.
I forgot how easy it is for guitar. It's just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's before you're like. That's pretty fucking sick. Don't get me wrong, but like.
Right.
Dude, that's the Coltrane future reality, dude, I feel.
Yeah.
When you just open him up, because he did a little bit of that, but it was just like, because I think that wasn't like the focus, at least in that era of his playing. You know, it was more just about like voice leading, kind of like inner movement voice leading. But with guitar, you can basically do like outer movement, which is like suboptimal voice leading, you know? But it's so good when you still kind of understand that it's not suboptimal for guitar. I guess is my point. You know what I mean? But like, because doing stuff like, you know, because watch how I connect parallel to voice leading, right? Like watch how there's like that obvious thing like parallel, connect. Or that was not the perfect example. Here's a better one. Parallel, and then perfect. Right?
Yeah. That makes sense.
And look at this. I got these same pathway here. Definitely important to draw attention here. Same pathway. But look at this. Right? So let's now play a couple. I'll repeat that, right?
Okay.
Check this. So now I'm just starting to expand outward, right? If I see this, I see. That's happening just from that repetition, right? So I'm letting myself open up on that C, on that 1 chord, because I'm connecting by half step from that G. So it's like parallel, bad stuff. And then from here, I would, those kinds of moves. That's insane, dude. That's like only guitar allowed. Only guitar allowed. You cannot even do that on any other instruments. Like, see that kind of voice leading? Violin, they can do that. Cello, they can do that. But that is like the power of guitar. Like, I don't know what we got to call this, but this idea of like pathway voice leading, but like the intervallic jump. But it's the like the grips connect. Like, look how the grips connect. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, not that. That example. Those kinds of examples. Those are crazy guitar language. And so coming up with those on countdown, like, oh, not that. 3, 4 from the top. good. We got that in our ear. You see what I'm doing, hopefully, now. I mean, I know you're a very advanced student, so I'm not filling in like every single detail here, but I think you actually do understand every triad connection I'm coming to. You can follow my logic to really memorize your own pathways and develop a ton of language using the guiding principle that you could use one pathway and rehearse the hell out of a single pathway and get really good at it. And then one thing you can do is cross it with the melody. And that's another reason why I chose that E minor starting point, because when I play the melody with chords, that's what that is. Fat shape 1 on the root, and I'm doubling the fourth. I could play a non-fat shape, though. Your choice. Maybe non-fat shape is pretty good right there, but check this movement out.
Yeah, it's so sick.
It's very sick. What do you think of this, though? Listen to this. Is that better? I know it's an impossible question. It's an impossible question.
I like how different it is too. It's like
both are good. Both are good for sure.
Yeah.
I just acknowledge that it's just funny. Like E minor with a fat shape, right? Classic E minor, fat shape 1 on the root with doubling the freaking 11th, right? And then fat shape 1 on the root of F. It says F7, but look, F sus with major third on top. F sus with that's Herbie Hancock reality, dude. F sus with A on top. So that's what I'm doing there, and in honor of like some rule breaking, like don't try to understand this type stuff. Like just play it. Just play the voicings.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
yeah, like and then it hits so hard on the B flat. And now I just voiced it. It's like he knew guitar.
Yeah. Oh, it's so sick.
It's nasty. It's nasty. Okay. We see the whole thing. Let's just play one more time to get to bar 12. One more time, because I said bar 12 is going to flip it up, and we're going to just look at another chord melody quickly. But like we get a lot of mileage out of the same stuff around here. 3, 4. Here it is. And I'll talk about all that. But ooh, didn't play the melody. All right, so let's talk about what we're doing at bar 12. So look at this. Oh, yep, exactly. That's wrong. It is not. It is not. It's not. That's what that says. It's not that. It's this. So this is E flat F. Then this is correct.
Okay.
This.
Yeah, that sounds better. That even sounds better.
Oh yeah, it's so much better. Like it's not. That's so offensively wrong. All you have to do is listen. Who didn't do their homework here? It's still the best chart though, because it's just like this. I don't know how everyone kind of fucks this one up somehow. But yeah. So this melody, like classic, like pentatonic box, right? But then like, so I'm playing.
Yeah.
I was just playing non-fat shape, but I'm playing fat shape here. Oh, way sicker to my ears. This is a straight up D flat 7 13. Like, only time we see that voicing for the. That's not exactly true, but in that natural 13 position, that's the only time, because we're seeing the same voicing on A7. So listen to A7. Sharp 9, flat 9 into 5, but here we see same exact voicing. But instead of starting on the flatted 7th fat shape 3, it's fat shape 3 starting on the major 3rd, which is giving you it's giving you 3, flat 7, 9, 13. First inversion 13, natural 9, and then 5th on top. And then listen to that G major melody. You know it's so good. It's...
Yeah.
Undeniable, right? And you can just be super basic. I actually love how when the melody, goes back to all the shit I've always been like. Look, the melody is so strong on top of that major 7/9 chord. if I'm right at that E major. I think I was actually back on the G flat. Sorry, I messed my. But from that. Oh no, I'm right here. I'm way down here. I'm right here. Bar 12. Bar 12. Just listening for this. Listen. This is so nice. Just a G flat major with the 5th on top, but having the 7th and the 9th below the 5th and the 3rd, it's like so perfect. Like the power of it being the melody is just like, that's why it sounds so good. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Yeah, that's
now let's get it ripped off. Oh my god, they fucked it up again. That is not correct. Natural 9. I think it's the same as the other one. Yeah, no, half note. Look, they're trying to parallel. It's trying to be a copy parallel. It's just like wrong. Natural
You're just
9
doing
here.
it wrong.
Natural 9 right here. Like, so
Yeah.
check it out from bar 12. No, that's not bar 12. That's bar 9. Bar 9. This is correct. Undeniable major 913. Now check it out. Going to D major. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
The 5th on top. Fat shape 1 on the, like, that's classic. 5th on top with fat shape 1 on the major 3rd. Perfect voicing. There's that root. It's hard to read.
So that natural 9 is more like a parallel for bars 7 and 8, right?
Now you're looking. Yep. 100. Isn't that sick?
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
amazing. It's good. It's such good composing.
Such good composing, dude. Fuck, it's such insane. Crazy. Yeah. Okay, let's finish it. Because this is the punchline. The D major F to B flat, that's where it's like, dude, the planets aligning right there, dude. Right there. So just you gotta take it back from bar 9. You just hear this all the way to B flat.
Yeah.
And this one. Except it's got A on top. I should say it. Sorry, I should do it properly. That's what it is. That's what that is. E flat 7 with A on top. I gotta play that. That ending is offensive, but it's, I mean, yeah, of course it is. Yeah, just to really be positive. Okay, let's now actually just play the same. I'm literally going to cop the same triad pathway just for the ending, just so we can hear
Gotcha.
that. You know what I'm saying? Keep it real simple. Top. Whoa. We got it now. Yeah. So hopefully that was clear at the end.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah, and I'm just basically being clear that I'm playing these closed on these 3, right? Triad closed always on every one of these. So this is the mentality of Countdown, at least the way that I do it. No one ever told me anything about you. You just got to figure this shit out. But basically, I like to go open root position on the first 3 chords, into a first inversion on the third chord, and then I like to just go closed root position. I love closed root position. It's so good. And then when I start getting fancy, because these are all parallel movements, I don't have to overthink the melody. I'll play it when I want to. I was purposely overthinking it in this example because I wanted to, and I fucked it up actually. But in reality, what I'll do is when I get fancy and I want to be like special, is I'll just start opening up these triads, but still see them as root position. So what I'm saying is these three chords I'm seeing root position, closed triads. I'll just go root position, open triads. You know, second time. It's just a perfect contrast. And then over here, I was trying to, and I was kind of failing, but I was really trying to hit the melody. Over here, hit the melody. That's practice. You got to get good at hitting the melody on soloing over here because it's super powerful at this part of the tune. Like, that's where the deep resonance is. So thinking of lines that kind of like voice lead that melody, it's like you're comping melodies below the melody. That's what I was saying about with the horn players. Teaching them to do that, it's freaking definitely cutting edge, to say the least, I would think. But all right, dude, cool. That was a good countdown lesson. Everything makes sense.
It's gonna be tough to practice. I feel like the single note pathways like will be straightforward enough, but like
yeah. The chords. No, we got to talk about chords for sure.
Oh yeah, the chords definitely were daunting. And I'll have to think about, there was the sharp, the classic alter dominant sharp flat nine line in the first 4 bars, and then the rest of the time. The rest of the time is the natural line, like sort of less tension kind of deal going on.
And so use that as a point of focus to not go to autopilot, and so also for another reason commit to singular pathways, so you can just commit to like some goal, right? It's really clear goal.
That makes sense. So you can actually explore like the characteristic compositional nuances.
Yes, the characteristic compositional. And now, like you were saying at the beginning when you were talking about extensions, you will get to the point where you'll naturally play those extensions. Notice how the melody is telling you which ones to play. So just think about it that way. And that's kind of what I was trying to demonstrate on, like at the very beginning, right, from E, starting at E minor. Like, watch how I resolve into D.
Yeah.
You would think it's like...
That just sounds natural, yeah.
But just, it's so hard when you hit the melody.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So like, that's how you play tensions. That's how you play tensions.
The tensions have to set up the chord change.
Dude.
They just become the crunchiest, right? Like when you do
literally, I think Countdown is one of the best examples of teaching how tension works. Like, tension 101. The melody teaches you tension 101. Like, welcome to not playing triads. But look how you're still barely not playing them. You're basically still completely playing them.
That's all you need, though. I mean, it's just slick. Dude.
One slick little voice lead setter-upper. And that's why when he comes at it the second time, he does the natural 9. He's like, dude, I'm not going to do the sharp 9, flat 9 2 times. That's insanity. And so whoever made that chart, like, doesn't understand how music works. Like, you totally have to not do that the second time. Like, if you're going to play a parallel sequence, you have to cut it over and make the perfect response. You know what I mean? Like, the response hits on 2 levels. It hits on, obviously, it's a key change, but also the melodic variation. Perfect. And it just sets up the second half of the tune where you're like, oh, countdown to blast off. Like, and then the way that you think about it when you're improv is like the first half is like you're kind of chilling, and then the second half it hits violently, and then it goes back to the first half like chilling, and then like countdown do 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 like that. It's just like it's, and if you hit it like in your phrasing, the tune starts to play itself. But it happens naturally by just mastering the triads on it.
Yeah, totally.
And you get to hear the tune work for you.
And I need to. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fucking sick. I need to think. I'll probably just bring over what we learned from One Day My Prince Will Come, with like just like laying out like the simple options with the chord stuff.
Great idea. Yeah, lay out some pathway, one single pathway and work on it and do small loops and have some fun, dude, hearing the Coltrane. Could you understand everything conceptually? So all you have to do is just go ahead and make those pathways. For some people, they don't even, they don't see it yet, So it's funny. I don't take it for granted. I just remind you not to take it for granted either, because it's something that I teach people, and it's hard, for them to see, just like, oh yeah, like, okay, yeah, I can just come up with pathways. Like, you're thinking like, yeah, I'll come up with the pathways, but then I have to practice them and like actually ingrain them. But like, yeah, for some people, they can't even come up with pathways, They don't know how to do like triadic voice leading,
I think as general advice, the two things that helped me the most was first going open position on giant steps, because like
nice.
It was because I needed to memorize the changes, and they were like non-conventional. Like it's not like 2-5-1s anymore, but it's like up a tritone and then up a fourth. And then
Genius, exactly. Yeah, there's your giant step sequence. You know it. Yep.
And that was mind bending. And like the only other thing I think that would come as close is just like permutating closed triads, because like then like you get around like the weirdness of the open triad. So like those two things I think would be the,
Amazing advice. Amazing. Huge insight. Perfect. We'll close it.
Wow. You're like in the, like I said, top 1 percentile of like guitarists, musicians, people to make it to the end of this video. But right, it wasn't that bad. This is pretty straightforward stuff. Isn't Sean an OG legend? Gotta love this dude. I'm grateful for so many of my students. I have some people who really understand how to use me and, how to uncover the secrets of the universe by studying the tunes, right? By studying the mindsets, by studying the mentalities, right? So if you're one of those people and you see how you could use me, well, you might want to consider joining my inner circle. It's obviously not cheap. I have a whole website that explains it. I'm going to put that as the first link in the description. That's mentalitymusic.com/systems for creation. That's my inner circle, where you get access to 3 live classes per week. Those are my office hours, right? But we also do some one-on-one, and we basically complete the roadmap to mastery, right? That is what we are doing. I am guiding you to complete the roadmap to mastery. Now, Sean has completed the roadmap to mastery like 6 months ago, right? But guess what? Sean sees how it just keeps compounding by studying more tunes. Like once you complete the roadmap to mastery, you're on step 5, which is congratulations, you've achieved mastery for the rest of your life. And what that is just learning tunes and then iterating tunes, composing and blurring the line between composition, improvisation, and also arranging and composition. And that is the trifecta of awareness. Composition, improvisation, arranging, right? Composition and arranging are the same thing because it all boils down to chord changes. And then of course, composition and improvisation are the same thing based on a different time frame. And then of course, improvisation, arranging. What are you actually doing when you're improvising? You're just arranging in real time. And you can just substitute the word arranging for composition. So that is the trifecta of musical fluency right there.